All right, this will be a trade recap for Wednesday, February 4th, 2026. Continuing on with one and done. And first to trigger using a average position size of 1 to 3 contracts. Say today was a pretty straightforward day. Starting to get some good setup on both SPY and Qs. Definitely looks like the market's going to take a bit of a downward trend from here, breaking some key support on Qs, which is interesting. So I'm going to watch to see exactly where that goes and maybe see what opportunities pop up on that one. But yeah, ironically, the first trade to trigger was a long and it worked, even though if you look at the daily chart, you can see red candles on both SPY and Qs. So that's one of those things where even if the big candle on the day says one thing, doesn't mean there isn't opportunities within that to take trades. So before we get into that, just a quick message about coaching and mentorship. If you are an individual that is struggling or new to trading and you're looking for someone to teach you, listen up because this next part is for you. I am a student of this gentleman. This is Pat Mitchell. He is a professional day trader, though he originally was in blue-collar work. And he has been in the markets for a little over a decade now. And he has built up a incredible process and knowledge base when it comes to learning how to day trade. He runs a service called Trick Trades. He has also put together inside of Trick Trades a program called SizeUp, and that's what I do. And it is a structured program for learning how to day trade. You start with a small cash account and you basically build that up with your education, experience, and screen time to eventually hit different milestones and become a full-time professional day trader. So if you're interested in something like that, great person, probably one of the highest quality coaches when it comes to day trading out there. If not the highest quality, I don't personally know of any other coaches that I can stand by or say that about. And I've been around a few of them in terms of their services, and nothing even comes close to what Pat offers. So if you're looking for a high quality coach, I cannot recommend him enough. And like I said before, you can find him over at tricktrades.com. He also has a YouTube channel on his own where he posts recaps usually daily. If you want to check that out, you can get a little preview of the kind of information he offers and the quality. And that is just a very, very small amount of the knowledge he possesses. But yeah, definitely check him out. It will be worth your time and effort to go through some of his content and judge for yourself. And with that being said, let's get into the charts. Okay, with that being said, here is my setup. You got the daily charts for SPY and Qs on the left, the 1 minute intraday chart here in the middle, and order execution here on the right. So for today, we were actually, before we get into that, all the levels you see here on SPY and Qs are developed the night before and refined the morning of by Pat over at Trick Trades. And I add onto that basically what I would be risking off of. And then once, everything's kind of set in stone, we wait to see where the market's going to open up to see what levels are in play, what's a valid trade, what has, is needed for what we look for in a trade, and basically execute off those. And that's exactly what happened. So coming in, we were opening up. SPY had been kind of coming down and testing this level, and it's too close to take off the gate. If it opens right at that level, you need distance from the levels. So luckily we got that coming into the open. Qs was more or less doing a better job of staying away. It was opening up kind of right in the middle. Only thing that was kind of an issue potentially with Qs was the 100 SMA was kind of sitting right in here. So weren't sure if that was just going to dump and pop basically, or how I was going to interact with that. So, and with that, I elected to take SPY as my trade to trigger, so to speak, even though, as you can see, Qs and SPY generally pretty close to matching, but SPY technically did come into the level just before Qs came into its level, unless you were adding the taking a trade off of the 100. But since that wasn't necessarily a play that I was looking to execute on, I did not. I waited for the official levels that were part of the trade plan. And that's what I did. So I'll pull those up real quick. So SPY came down into the level, executed, pretty standard. Because of the potential break of key support on Qs and this thing dumping out, I managed my risk by not adding a bunch of size in, even though typically as it was coming down, that's exactly what you would want to do to correct your average. So I kept it very small just to kind of anticipate some of that heightened risk and volatility, because probably know it breaks key support and then just dumps and does not come back. So sometimes you just need to exercise a little bit more caution. And then basically just waited for that first reaction or to get stopped out. And boom, popped up, then paid right on that candle, coming back into kind of that middle of the range that we were contending with as we were coming into the open, and like right in there, top of that part of the range. And it worked. So it's one of those things where pretty quick in, out. And as you can see, it did come higher. But again, with one contract for my 1 to 3 contract range that I'm trading with currently, that's fine. I mean, it's the first reaction. That's all you got. And it's one of those things where size can get you in trouble in days like today, and have gotten me in trouble in the past. So happy with, again, maintaining the discipline, committing to one and done and first to trigger, while at the same time not adding size, and recognizing that the day has some potential for volatility, shenanigans, whatnot. But as you can see, long off of SPY, came up, dumped out, came up, rejected. Here, let me rephrase that. Came up, rejected, came up, rejected, came up, rejected again, and finally just kind of gave up on that third one. Came back down into this support zone, popped again, which kind of just looks like profit taking, and then continued to sell off. And then again, as you can see, kind of came up, testing support that has now become resistance, and continuing on. But it's one of those things where nailed that first trade out the gate. There are obviously several opportunities, like that's an opportunity to short, that's an opportunity to short, that's an opportunity to short. As this came back down, broke through, possibly an opportunity to short there, though not enough really, because it kind of held that support right there. So shorting that one, kind of dicey. You were better off. I mean, if you wanted to truly short this, was one of those things where like you let it come back up and then kind of hit resistance again, but it didn't really give you that opportunity to enter. So I'd say probably not. But that's the thing. It's like in the morning, plenty of opportunities to execute trades, or if you hit Qs when it came down into the level, probably just would have gotten a starter in. But again, same thing. It worked. Came into the open, then just had a hard time just getting back over. In the third time, just gave it up. Just couldn't do it, and sold off back down into this initial support level. So very clean, straightforward day in terms of the price action. Emotions, discipline, all that was in check. Trying to think if I had any real issues or anything popped up during the course of the trading session, and can't really think of any for myself. So hopefully that's a good sign that, again, committing to this process is helping to reinforce basically all the fundamentals and skills needed to do this on a consistent basis, because that's exactly what it's meant to do. And go from there. Obviously, this changes as time goes on and you add more size and you potentially see where emotion creeps back in terms of where you get uncomfortable. But sometimes that's where you exactly need to go. You gotta kind of have to figure out where is that threshold where you feel that emotion. And then you need to kind of stay in that area a little bit. That way you can get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And then you just slowly push the envelope a little bit at a time till eventually you get to where you need to be. So looking forward to doing that. And I don't think that'll be too far from the future. Again, if this is where things are right now, 6 months from now, it'll be very interesting to see where we are. So yeah, hopefully everyone had a good day. And yeah, I don't have anything else. So I'll catch everyone tomorrow for the next one. Have a good one.